What's up, y'all? Happy Friday, everybody. Popping on to a little solo live here. Just gonna pop on, answer any questions you guys have about selling on Amazon. It's a good day to kind of be getting after. I know we've been talking about it, but obviously with Q4 here in about 2 weeks, price of everything's about to go crazy. So I'm excited to see which y'all are going to be taking things seriously and crushing it this Q4 because it's always a really exciting time for some new Amazon sellers. I definitely underestimated kind of the power of my first Q4. So if this is your first, like, a little bit on Amazon, that kind of thing, just kind of be thinking about all the products you've already sourced, or if you've never sourced anything, just think about the fact that anything that people give as gifts is about to start flying off the shelves, and that's obviously a lot of items. So we've been kind of starting to ramp up some spend, doing some extra sourcing, that kind of thing. And yeah, let me know who we got. What's up, Marco? How you doing, man? Good to see you guys. Sweet, and I'm on YouTube and TikTok here, so let me know either place if you guys have questions about selling on Amazon. I've been doing it for about 6 years now. It's kind of my full-time income. And yeah, I've been doing it full-time for 3.5-ish years. Yeah, right around 3.5 years. Sweet, what's up? You said, what should be your first product? So your first product should be something that already sells. So I do online arbitrage. So I just buy and sell things that people are already buying. Great starting point is anything that's auto ungated. So when you're a new seller, you're going to have to get approved to sell like certain brands and categories and all that kind of thing. So start by selling something that your account's already approved to sell. If you need an example of that, go to like a Cuddle Duds listing, a Stafford listing, any listing for let's say like a retail private label. So like Target has Up and Up. That's like a Target brand, right? So anyone who's selling that Target brand has to be buying other things from Target and other retail websites, right? So it's just kind of a game of what are other people having success with already, and let me find the people who do the same business model as me. Yeah, let's see. But yeah, it makes total sense. Finding the first that first product is by far the hardest part. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to learn a whole lot of different things at once, so that makes total sense. You just gotta have a little patience with yourself. It'll click in no time. See, accidentally put the wrong dimensions on your shipment. What should you do if you can't change it? I mean, if you already submitted it to Amazon, I mean, personally, I mean, yeah, technically you need to remake the shipment, which if you're unboxing, you can just press the clone shipment button and it'll clone everything that was about that shipment. Then you can just go back to step 3. That's actually not too bad. Yeah. What's up, man? How's it going? How much do you need to start, Omar? Yeah. So I started my Amazon business with like $1,500. And that was just buying and selling like used books, cheap stuff, going to local stores, that kind of thing. Really, if you have like $1,000 to $2,000, that's good. Yeah, if you have like 3,000 or more, that's plenty. Like I said, I had less than $2,000 and I was getting going. Let's see, if you're domestic, what's a minimal margin for products? Yeah, so typically you're going to source things that have at least a 30% ROI. So I buy and sell stuff like this, like name brand toys, name brand clothes, that kind of thing. Let's say I paid $10 for this. On average, I'm going to make $3.50 in profit on this. So about a 35% ROI, and usually about $3 profit. There's kind of a lot of things that go into my sourcing decisions, which I actually made a list of everything that I look at, and it's free. It's up in the resources that are free in my profile. It's like a page and a half on a Google Doc of just like everything I look at before I buy an item. What's up, Sherry? How's it going? Let's see. What's your profit on that? Yeah, so I try to shoot for 20% gross margin and 10% net margin after all my costs and that kind of thing. That's what that's what I like to look for. Sellers who do a lot of the work themselves will be higher net margin. I just hired out most of the work in my business, so I'm fine to make less money, working less hours, basically. Let's see, 30%. You're looking at needing 4x. I'm not sure what you mean, but yeah, 30% ROI is pretty typical. Yeah, 30% ROI is pretty typical. What's up, Co? Yeah, we do have a free course you can watch. Yeah, so if you guys are like brand new to the game, you want to learn how to do everything, on YouTube, if you just look up 4-hour Amazon course or Fields of Profit free course, there's like the name says, there's a 4-hour long video that shows you how to make shipments, how to get started, everything you need to know, basically all the tools you need, that kind of thing. What's up, Adam? Just getting started. Any advice? Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that holds everyone back is just not taking action, right? Like, whatever startup budget you have, prioritize making a sale as soon as possible. And I know that maybe sounds obvious, but a lot of people will sit there and they'll try to make the perfect bookkeeping systems, and they'll kind of optimize things that don't really matter. The only thing that grows your business, especially early on, is sourcing more products, right? So right now, just any extra free time you have, if you're getting started, and you want to know like kind of how to get going, spend as much time as possible product sourcing. That and something that I should have done earlier is start to talk to other people who sell on Amazon. So Adam, you're here in like a chat full of other Amazon sellers. There's lots of free communities you can join. Just find a friend or two that does Amazon. It's a good way to just kind of share ideas and make some money together, basically. If you're importing from China, the margins have to be huge. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't import from China. I just buy and sell stuff that already sells profitably. So like I was just showing an example of like a Pokemon toy or whatever, right? So people are already buying that. You might as well buy things that people are already searching for on Amazon and already buying. Yeah. So who collects sales tax? You did Amazon years ago. Yeah, Papa, it used to be really annoying. I've been doing Amazon for like 7 years or so at this point, 6 or 7 years. And yeah, you had to do sales tax per each state. Luckily, Amazon takes care of the legwork for us on that now. So you don't need to worry about anything. The only thing with it when it comes to sales tax is your specific state. It's smart to get a resale certificate. That way, when you're buying something from, let's say, Walmart.com, you found a profitable item at Walmart, you're not going to go on there and pay sales tax. You can just submit your resale permit and not pay sales tax. But yeah, on individual sales, Amazon takes care of the sales for you. How often does Seller update their data? I think it's every 15 minutes, and it tracks down to the minute, basically. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but it's very fast. Yeah, it's very fast. Groceries or beauty products for starting. I wouldn't limit yourself to like any particular niche, to be honest. Just kind of go where the profit is. And if you kind of think about how most of the opportunities you're going to be buying stuff online are going to be like limited time sales, limited time coupons, that kind of thing. You don't want to be like, all right, I'm only sourcing beauty products today when there's no sales or any kind of limited specials on beauty products. But you might look at a clothing website and they're running crazy sales and crazy deals and that kind of thing, right? So yeah, I wouldn't really limit yourself to one particular category. It can help, like if you're trying to figure out what to sell early on, like if you have any kind of like personal expertise in a certain, if you're into makeup, if you're into, trains as a hobby, something random, right? Like, good brands, like what people want, that kind of thing. And you can kind of focus on that, but there's no real reason there's no reason to discriminate like which categories your profits are going to come from, basically. Is going to stores and scanning the best way to find products. It's one of the easiest ways to find products for sure, Mary, just because, it's easy, like hands-on experience, pulling out the Seller Amp app. You just scan the barcode. It tells you what it sells for, shows you the profit, that kind of thing. The downside to going to stores physically is obviously you can only buy what's actually on the shelf. Whereas typically I source most of my products online. So I'll buy, as many as I think I can sell, basically. What app? Yeah. So Seller Amp is the app that you use to source products. Yeah, and then in terms of other, so kind of the essential software, so Seller Amp and Keepa, those are both $40 a month combined. So together it's $40 a month, and then another $50 a month for Boxem. Say like make shipments, track profit, and there's also an AI assistant on Boxem. So you can ask Boxem where to source today. If you're running into like beginner complaints, need like problem solved. It's an AI assistant specifically for Amazon sellers that's built into the tool that kind of helps you do listing and all that kind of stuff. What do you mean? How do you find products? Yeah, so short answer is look at what other successful Amazon sellers are already selling and reverse engineer it from there. If you want the longer answer, then you can look up Fields of Profit on YouTube, specifically like Fields of Profit free course. There's a big long video that'll show you in great detail how to do everything, and it's obviously free on YouTube. You hear Seller Amps on Walmart now. Yeah, amigo. So there's WAMP, W-A-M-P, is a calculator, historical data, that kind of thing, for Walmart sellers, and it's free. So any of you guys who sell on Walmart, if you're using anything else to do fee calculations or look at how fast things sell, that kind of thing, you can just use WAMP, which is completely free on the beta, which is pretty cool. Let's see, how much is actual take home? Yeah, I already answered that. It's like 20% gross, 10% net is what I shoot for. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Let me know what other questions you guys got. Here's Amazon accept invoices from retail stores for authenticity. Yeah. Retail invoices, as in like receipts, won't work if you're trying to get ungated because it doesn't have your address on it, but it works to prove that you bought legitimate inventory. So if you're ever getting questioned by Amazon, and it's natural, and at some point Amazon's going to make sure you're buying legitimate inventory and that kind of thing, then yeah. What's up? Appreciate you, ASM. I'm down 35 pounds last couple months here. I think it took me 4.5 months, but yeah, been working hard. Appreciate you, man. What thermal printer do you recommend? I just use like a Rollo. Yeah, I use like a Rollo. It doesn't really matter. Rollo, Dymo, anything like that. Let's see. RA can be cheaper if you're ungated. If not, then OA for order confirmation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're doing retail arbitrage, then just make sure you're already like ungated to source the things you're wanting to sell. What's up, Stony? Said you got approved on brands recently with the help of your advice. Thanks. Yeah, for sure, Stony. Glad you're unlocking some opportunity there. You love to see that. Yeah, and I see a bunch of you guys on TikTok. So let me know if you guys have any questions if you're on TikTok here. And then I know a lot of you guys, if you're wanting to learn for free, I've got a free course for you as well. So like I said, no strings attached. It's up in the profile up there. If you guys are on YouTube and you want the free course, it's down below, by the way. It's just the Amazon Launchpad. Let's see. You moved. Yeah, I like SellerSnap personally, Mushroom. It's just really expensive. I've been using SellerSnap mostly lately. It just doesn't make sense for people that are, I don't know, sub 50 to 100K a month. It's just too expensive. Yeah. Let's see. Is your Amazon business remote right now? Is it possible to make Amazon FBA remote? Yeah, for sure. So my business is all remote. The only exception when it comes to like running your Amazon business fully remote is you do still need somewhere that your returns can get shipped to. And that's just going to specifically be the returns that are at Amazon that they think are damaged, which is usually a relatively small amount of products, but it's going to be consistent, especially as you scale. So if you want to run things fully remote, you just need a solution for that. Otherwise, you can just get a prep center to receive and ship everything for you, basically. And that's what a lot of people do when they are kind of newer to the, or that's what a lot of people do when they're like international, or maybe if their state has really high sales tax, you can ship to a prep center in a state that doesn't have sales tax. Let's see. You're gonna watch the long form content on YouTube? Yeah, for sure. Dive in there, Alien. I know. Yeah, I wish I could, give away the entire game on a live stream, but there's a lot of nuance to things that work, right? Any business model that takes some effort and actually makes money is going to take some know-how. So yeah, just dive in on some free YouTube content and you'll learn the vast majority. Just the big thing, and I know I see a lot of familiar names that have been like on streams and that kind of thing. Make sure you're just like actually getting after it. I know it's very tempting to sit on a live stream and learn more and watch YouTube videos and that kind of thing and never actually take action. It was kind of interesting seeing something how like when you like say you're going to do something, or you like start watching things and that kind of, and like trying to educate yourself, your brain, it feels like the same amount of progress is actually making the money. So it's like really easy to get trapped in that information paralysis of just like feeling like you're making progress, but really you haven't bought anything, you haven't made sales, that kind of thing. It's been your fault. Analysis paralysis. Yeah, it makes total sense, especially if this is your first time starting a business. Like, it feels crazy to go out and buy even $100 worth of random shampoos and stuff, right? Like, you never sold anything online. You're just not thinking in that kind of mindset typically as if this is like your first business. So it makes total sense to be a little bit scared to throw money into something. But yeah, that's why I like selling just like name brand stuff. So like, let's say you find a name brand toy, you could buy one of them and see if it sells, right? I wouldn't recommend it. I'd say try to buy, at least 5 or 10 units. But if you're super apprehensive, you can buy one unit and see if it sells. It's nothing stopping you. Sweet. Thanks for the heads up on the microphone, Steven. Should be good. Let me know on TikTok if my voice sounds better. Let's see. I heard some sellers say they have 1 to 3 products making them 10K, 20K revenue. Is that true? Yeah, that can be true. I mean, I've had one product that we sold $80,000 to $90,000 of in 1 month. I've also had products that we sell $10 of in 1 month, right? Like, it's very item by item. Obviously, the typical item is not going to sell. The typical item is not going to sell $10,000 the first time you buy it, but it definitely can. Sweet. Yeah, should be all good over here on the TikTok stream. Let me know if you guys can hear me better on TikTok. Let's see. Ship it to Amazon after listing. Yeah. So you list the item on Amazon. Looking good. Sweet. All right. So yeah, you list the item on Amazon and then you ship it into Amazon. So let's say you buy this product. you will enter this product information into Boxum, which is the software that you'll use to create shipments. And then that listing will automatically go to Amazon. You'll show up on the listing. And then all you need to do to actually make sales is to have product at the warehouse. So yeah, you just make the listing and then ship it into Amazon using Boxum. Let's see. Yeah, as long as it's accepting applications for you, just anywhere you bought it profitably. Yeah, I don't actually sell Pokemon. That's just an example. I do, like, I buy and sell Pokemon, but I keep it for like a year, 2 years at a time, that kind of thing. I like grew up on Pokemon cards and that kind of thing. So now it's just like a for fun money kind of thing. How do you find products to generate crazy revenue? You're never gonna like when you're sourcing, you're never going to be specifically sourcing for something that sells 1,000 times a month. It's just gonna naturally happen. The majority of your products will be stuff that sells 30 times a month here, 100 times a month here, 50 times a month here, right? So you have a lot of products that make up the bulk of your just kind of consistency. And the real way you create consistency with those is getting good at like restocking those products over and over again. But naturally, as you find a lot of those kind of base hit products, is how I like to think of it, you're going to hit some home runs just by the nature of putting in reps. But I don't ever specifically source for things that sell like crazy fast. I'm just going and sourcing for any profit I can find. You don't want to be too picky with what you're buying, unless you're in a case where you're starting to run out of money and your business is growing and that kind of thing. Then you get to be really picky about, I only want to buy stuff that sells really fast, or I only want to buy super high profit items, that kind of thing. Yeah. Is there any particular reason why sales are slowing down, even though your prices are competitive? The listing as a whole could be selling slower, or there's more competition than there used to be, JP. So you can check the buy box stats and see if there's more different stores that are making sales than they used to. So that'd be like the little pie chart on SellerAmp. Let's see. If you're starting as a beginner, how many products should you be drop shipping? Drop shipping 0, because drop shipping will get you banned on Amazon. Unfortunately, unless you do it under very specific circumstances, like you have to work with a supplier that knows that they're drop shipping to Amazon customers, basically. So in the traditional sense, like if you're buying something from Walmart, shipping it to an Amazon customer, that's how most people think of drop shipping. That will get you banned. What is allowed is taking that product that you find cheaper on Walmart, buying it, and then shipping it to Amazon. To FBA, or you can buy it and ship it direct to customers as it sells. But yeah, don't do drop shipping. Unless, like I said, unless it's a very specific circumstance where it is allowed. But most people, like retail drop shipping, is not allowed. Yeah. Sweet. If a website has a sale, what's the best way to find products on the sale quickly? Yeah, it's a great question, Kelly. Yeah. So let's say there's a sale on. I'm just going to use great value, right? I've never seen a sale on that, but let's say Great Value groceries are having a sale. The best way to look through that is going to be going to people who already sell Great Value, going to SellerAmp, and then specifically filtering down to all of their Great Value items. And that's what I'll do when I'm sourcing brands that are kind of newer to me. If I'm looking at a brand that I've sourced before, probably several times, then usually I'm going to go direct to the website. And most websites will have a way to sort by what's selling the fastest. So it'll be like popular or best sellers or something like that on a website. And usually that's going to directly correlate to how fast stuff sells on Amazon in terms of how fast it sells on the brand's website, basically. Do you change your shipping template for Q4? Yeah, good question, Marco. I definitely do. During Q4, the main thing I'll change is I will make sure that my expedited shipping is super expensive. During the holiday rush, especially the last week before Christmas, people are going to be paying insane prices to make sure that the gifts they bought last minute get to their loved ones on time. So usually I'll raise it to $30 to $40 for 2-day or 3-day expedited shipping during Q4. Yeah. For anybody trying to set up their FBM templates and that kind of stuff, which is kind of a more, it's a little bit of a higher level question. I've got a video on YouTube. If you just look up FBM shipping guide on YouTube, should be my video that pops up. Not really cool, but you can shoot me a DM. Yeah, just bought a house not too long ago, so cash reserves are are a little emptier than typical. So I don't know if I'd be able to invest right now. How do you ungate products if you're using retail arbitrage? Yeah, submit the if you're doing retail arbitrage, then you need a document that has your address on it. So usually, let's say you find I don't know, let's just say Pokemon. If you find a Pokemon product in store, you're not allowed to sell it. I'll buy 10 of something online and submit that from a Target or Kohl's, anything like that. Just as long as you pick like a legit retail store, basically. For sure. Is there, yeah, you can pretty. You can just do it through your account, basically. Not sure what you mean, Hob. Yeah. Where did you find your suppliers? My suppliers are just big websites for the most part. Yeah, just kind of big retail websites. Nothing crazy. I think a lot of people have a kind of a misconception that you're buying from like big, you need to find like these secret wholesalers or secret websites and this kind of stuff. The most effective way, especially since the big websites are the ones that have a ton in stock, right? Just learn the big websites, learn, what is a good price for certain categories, certain, coupons they run, learn what good opportunities look like on these different websites. And then you just kind of build a rotation of 5 to 10 websites that you get really, really good at sourcing. And that rotation just kind of continues where, website A has a really good sale and then next week it doesn't, but website B has a good sale and so on, right? So you just kind of keep rotating between the things you've learned really well. What up, Brian? No, I bought in Tennessee. But yeah, well, good to see you, man. How's it going? I'm headed out of Madison pretty quick, but we need to run some basketball or golf or something like that sometime soon, Brian. If you're down, I know you're pretty close to me. When ungating, do we keep reapplying to the same case? You suggest we open a new one. You shall open a new one, unless there's like a specific reason why. Unless there's a specific reason why they denied the application, it's not true. Then I'll reapply. How much money do you need to start? Yeah, MC, you need like I would say like $2,000 pretty comfortably. If you have $1,000, that's better. Or $1,000 is fine. If you have less than that, then hit the gig apps. Work an extra shift or two. Do very, very traditional stuff to get like an extra $1,000 you can afford to throw at it. When you say websites, do you mean Target, Walmart, etc.? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we bought last night stuff from Walgreens, from Crocs, from a bunch of different just like major retail websites, basically. Yeah, for sure. Sweet, good vibes on a Friday here. If you guys are kind of wanting to get more serious about this stuff, again, there's a free course up in the bio on TikTok or down below on YouTube. So I'd really recommend you just dig into that. There's also some documents that I put together on like kind of a checklist of everything I look for in an item. I also put a list of 100 of my favorite suppliers in there as well. So yeah, really a lot of good resources for you there. Let's see, trying to learn digital marketing, affiliate marketing. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I've never really done either. I've done a little bit of affiliate marketing. But yeah, that's not really my main focus here, Gina. But yeah, whatever interests you, whatever you can see yourself, doing to make some money online for a long time to come. That's what'll work for you. Even if business model A is hypothetically everyone says is where all the money is, that kind of thing. If you're just doing something you like seeing yourself stick with. Sweet, sounds good, Brian. Let me I'll shoot you a DM when I'm back in town. Yeah, I see the pics of you balling it. I was trying to figure out what local high school that gym was at. I was realizing you're playing ball in Madison. Let's see, someone asked about generic listings. Do you avoid generic to competition? Yeah, I don't avoid it because of competition. I avoid it because you're like not allowed to sell on those listings. It's technically copyright infringement. And for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, like on a listing, it'll always say brand, and then it'll say whatever the brand is. If it says brand generic, it means that the listing was made by somebody who's not authorized to make that listing, which means that the brand can come shut that down whenever they want. Yeah, so just make sure you sell on listings where the brand is correct. Yeah, is it possible to make 4K doing retail arbitrage? Yeah, absolutely. I personally never made $4,000 in a month doing retail arbitrage. I've made a lot more than that doing online arbitrage. But you definitely can, and I know people who are. Off the top of my head, I can think of 5 or 10 people who are doing 100K plus a month doing retail arbitrage, just like driving around to stores. So it's definitely not easy. I would say it's going to be a lot easier if your goal is to make any more than probably 3 to 4K a month. It's going to make more sense to do online arbitrage. If you just want to make one, then retail arbitrage is great. Yeah, define online and retail. Yeah, so retail arbitrage is if you're physically going to a retail store Online arbitrage is if you're buying it from your laptop, basically, right? And you could be buying the same products. But typically the benefits of doing retail arbitrage it's going to be things that are out of stock online, but maybe you can get at your local store. Or retail arbitrage is going to be like clearance stores. So things like Grocery Outlet or Ollie's or Ross, Marshalls, those stores that run really good prices in person. Those are typically like your opportunities, basically. Oh, the some Prairie Y. That's funny. Yeah. I went to a Princeton club for a little while. It was too expensive though. I didn't use it enough. Let's see. Just started with some auto ungated items. You don't need an invoice. Stafford 32 degree, or I guess 32 degrees needs one now. Cuddle Duds, Danner shoelaces. So go to like a retail store brand. So like Up and Up or Great Value, and then look at what all those sellers are on, and you'll just start plugging those brands in, and you'll see a lot of people on some brands that you can also probably apply to sell or can get auto ungated on. Let's see, what's up, man? Yeah, I saw a little bit on Walmart. Nothing insane, but it's good. Usually the only things I'm selling on Walmart right now are things that I've already sourced for Amazon, and I check on WAMP and I see that it's profitable there as well, and I'll send some into Walmart, see how it goes. I'm not sourcing anything specifically just to sell on Walmart at the moment, but we're definitely selling stuff on the same products on Amazon and Walmart. Amazon's giving you sales for a product you don't have in stock. Interesting. If that's FBA, then you take the money. If it's FBM, then they think you have something listed in your store that you don't actually have. That, or what can happen is, let's say you send 10 units into Amazon, but they receive 20 for some reason. They probably gave you somebody else's inventory and they're going to sell it, and it's not really going to be noticed. And then, later down the line, they're going to lose your inventory, and sometimes a lot of it kind of evens out. And you're also able to get reimbursed if they lose your inventory specifically. Do you know any UK sellers? Yeah, I know a handful of UK sellers. If you're looking for resources for UK sellers, Fast Track FBAs is a good place to go. Tom's really cool. Do you sell on TikTok Shop? Nope. I've looked into it a little bit, but you can only do so many things at once, right? Seems like a good opportunity, but I think Amazon's a little better for where I'm at. I also think TikTok Shop maybe got a little bit worse of an opportunity over the last little bit, but it still seems pretty solid. Yeah. Do you use Keep a Product Finder? Yeah, I use it a fair amount. Yeah, we break down a lot on that on the free live classes, and then a little bit in the roadmap as well. We're actually doing another free class on a pretty quick turnaround. We got some people that said they missed out and wanted to come do another one pretty quick. So if you guys want to come to like a live training, we're doing another one on Wednesday night. And the link's up in my bio on TikTok or down below. That'll be really good. Want to make sure you guys are as dialed in as possible for Q4. So we're going to break down some kind of some different sourcing methods, some AI sourcing methods, that kind of thing. What's up, Lalo? Yeah, so you don't need that software, Lalo. It's like for private label. For reselling, all you need is Keepa, Seller Amp, and Boxum. Yeah, I've never heard of that, G. What's your best sourcing method? I mean, I would say over time, I've found the most items doing storefront stocking. But manual or like Keep a Product Finder can be good when you're zeroing in on a specific opportunity. But storefront stocking is always going to be the best, especially when you're just kind of exploring new ideas, because it's just like it's just a cheat sheet. You're just looking at what other people are already winning on rather than just looking at everything. And that kind of relies on a little bit of intuition that you got to develop, basically. What are the first 3 steps? Yeah, sign up for an Amazon seller account. Get the tools you need. So Seller Amp and Keepa for sourcing, and Boxum for kind of an AI assistant and listing analytics, all that kind of thing. And then step 3 is buy something. Whatever you can afford to, I would say whatever you can afford to lose, like just being, you don't want to throw money you can't afford to spend on a business. So if you got, $500 sitting on the sideline, then just spend that on inventory as fast as possible. Buying several different items. So don't spend all of your startup budget on one product, because there's a good chance that your first couple items, you're going to make some beginner mistakes. It's natural. So you want to buy as many different things as possible, as quick as possible, so you learn some lessons. Some of them go really well and you're able to restock. Some of them are not going to go well, and you're going to be like, all right, I see I had lesson learned here. I bought something where there was, the seller count was going up really quick. I should have known better than to buy something that everybody was coming on to, right? Because then the price is going to go down. You're just kind of trickle into it as much as possible. Yeah, something like that, alien. Something like that. Let's see. I don't really do wholesale, so that's going to be a question for somebody else there, Abdullah. How do you relate storefront to where the product is being sold? Yeah, so usually for storefront stocking, say you open up a storefront, they've got 10 different brands. I'm going to look at the products in a few of those brands at least, and I'm going to see just when I Google it, what sales pop up, what websites pop up, that kind of thing. And then any of them that have kind of a 25% coupon or a good discounted gift card going on in that brand, those would be the things that I zero in on. And then I'll just filter the seller store view down to just that, basically. Let's see. Where do you get bulk items? I buy from big websites. So yeah, any website, typically websites that run like coupons and sales, kind of creates a small window where it's only profitable for a certain a week or two, 5 days, whatever it is. You just load up while it's profitable, and yeah. Let's see. Do you mean yeah, alien? So 30% ROI, that's different from margin. So margin for most sellers is going to be 15 to 20% gross margin. ROI on that is 30 to 40%. So I just kind of take the low estimate there. But yeah, and the way it'll typically work for most of your products is, just for the sake of example, let's say you buy an item, say you pay $100 for it. Most of the time you're going to sell it for $200, and you're going to pay Amazon 50% in fees. You're going to 50% is going to be the cost of goods. So you paid 100, it's going to sell for 200. Then 30% is going to go to Amazon, and 20% is going to go to your gross profit, out of which you pay for software and the rest of that kind of thing. Can you use Target to ungate? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, any legit retail store. Do you ship the items out? Do you pay someone to do it? Yeah, so I ship everything to a prep center. It's like a third-party business, usually in a state with no sales tax, so it saves you some money. And then they ship to Amazon for me. And they'll load everything into Boxem and make those shipments and take care of that process. And then you pay per unit for that service, obviously. Unfortunately, prep centers are not free. That would be nice. What's up, Space? How often do you stream? Yeah, so Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then just kind of randomly. So not always live on Fridays, but when I don't have a crazy amount of work to do on Fridays, I usually go live like I am right now. But yeah, probably a good place to wrap up here. Good chatting with you guys. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Make sure you dive into just some free resources if you're wanting to get serious about this stuff. I know we got Q4 coming, so it's a very exciting time. We got the holiday sales rush coming up. If you guys want the free course, it's up in my bio on TikTok. There's also a free class we're doing next week. And then on YouTube, I just put it in the comment section. It's like 6 free documents, a few hours of videos as well. Just kind of where we're going to do everything. But yeah, good to see everybody. And